do que é que está a acontecer. Ok. Ah, ok. Gosto que o meu jogo está na puta que pariu. Ok. Para só um bocadinho, está bem? Pode ser? Pode ser ou não pode ser? Agora dê-me só uma Vex. Vamos lá ver se deu.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
História do Stanley. Okay.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Okay.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Oh my god. Obrigado, Vitor. Obrigado por ter seguido aí a live. Estou só a tentar ajeitar aqui a parte do jogo que por algum motivo não está a sair. Ok? Não sei porquê, mas. Yeah. Não. Ok. Ok. My name is Jeff. Ações. Dê-me só um bocadinho, faz favor. Título. Ok. What? Vamos já tentar perceber se consigo, se não. Okay. Vamos atirar isto para. Era todo o ecrã. Ok? Vamos a isso. Vamos ver se ficou. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Teste. Não. Acho que não ficou. Fudeu. Agora estragar o jogo aqui era muito incrível. Estás a sentir a situação? Não sei porque é que o jogo está a ficar na pontinha, neste caso. Nesta pontinha todo encolhido, mano. Seja bem-vindo, Vitor. Desculpa não estar a falar muito contigo, mas estou aqui só mesmo a verificar isto, ok? Eu queria que realmente estivesse a funcionar. Ok? Esta merda. Vamos já perceber. Vou criar aqui um out. Stanley. Vamos ao Stanley outra vez. mas convém atualizar isto. Transição. Exatamente. Agora sim. Não. Não ficou. Puta. Puta madre. Puta madre. Puta madre. Vamos fechar aqui o jogo. Oh man, Phonics. Porque aqui eu quando gravo está tudo ok. Espetacular. Quando eu decido... Sei lá, está violento. Quando eu decido realmente fazer a live. Isto decido bugar tudo. Tá bom, amigo? Oh, shut up, bitch. Shut up, bitch. Só mais uns instantes, ok? Assim, umas cenas muito rápidas, ok? Vitor, aproveita e partilha com os teus amigos a live, ou o canal pelo menos. Já que esta live está assim um bocado interrompida, estás a ser? Já ajudava imenso. Estás a entender? Ok. Estou no YouTube e no Twitch. Combinado? Vamos ver se agora conseguimos. Jogo, propriedades. Procurar aqui. No shit, bro. Bruh. Não, puto. Também não é isto. Oh shit. Que merda, bro. Que merda. É que até capturar a janela é complicado. Vamos experimentar. Espera. Ainda não ficou. Ainda não ficou. Ok. Só para eu ter certeza que vai ficar. Boa. A ver, vamos. Ai, garotos. Estás a brincar comigo. Tu estás a brincar comigo, Zé. E eu já estou a encher aqui. Oh, Jesus. A ver aqui. Deixa, vai ter que dar, amigo. Ok, vocês voltaram a ver. É a minha cena. Por isso agora tem que dar. Eu vou mostrar a janela inteira, man. Parece jogo reduzido. Num canto. O que é que acontece a esta merda, man? O que é que acontece a esta merda, man? Eu não sei porque é que ele está mesmo a ficar ali no cantinho, puto. O que me já está a chatear é isso, é só isso. Estás a entender? Se ele der direito, não há stresses. Que caralho. Bem, vamos dar um forward neste vídeo. Já tenho que pôr isso pela cheia, tá? Será que vai dar resultado? Vamos a ver. Vá lá. Voltou ao grande, ok, já estamos de volta. Vamos começar então. Agora sim, começar aí com esta cena.
This is the story of a man named
Stanley. Já sabemos a história do Stanley, ok? Estava a trabalhar aqui, sempre a carregar nos botõezinhos aqui, conforme a linha de comandos ali do PC lhe pedia, ok? E vamos a isso. Vamos ver o que é que o Stanley pode fazer. Controla a caixa. E nada mais. Ok, o botão é tipo a ação.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Deu o caralho da meeting room.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Co-workers. Este ainda tem um ecrã ligado. Liga para alguém, filho. Não? Não, ok. Liga a luz. Não, ok. Vamos à meeting room então. Paisagem branca, filho. Não? Eu já não sei qual é que era o nosso gabinete. Deixa-me ver o número. 427 427. Já não podemos voltar ao nosso escritório. 427. Memorizem isso, faz favor. Aqui uma porta aberta, umas caixas. Que pedraia.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
What? São 11h25. Alguém foi pela ventilação? What the fuck, vazou tudo.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Entrou? Pronto, tu dizes que sim. What the fuck, bro? Isto é bem sinistro, puto. What the fuck? 411.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
What? Weekly targets, marketing, termination, office, financial panic. What to do about 432? Office Party! Foi aqui, embabadaram-se todos aqui, de certeza. Na sexta-feira às 4 horas embabadaram-se todos. Floor 400. Targets. Not cost efficient. Remove my desk. Bruh. Chill. What the fuck is that, bro? Uma capa aí, caralho. Work harder, hard worker. What the fuck, man? Profits, 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 profits. Tudo cheio de profits. Don't get fired. Tudo. Monetize. Monetize free to play. What? Ah, caga nisso. Drone. Ei, caralho.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Não posso levar esta chave? Fendas? Só para ter segurança? Está meio sinistro. Voltei para onde, amigo?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Não, é bom, mas é vazar, puto.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming!
Olá, Sr. Saki,
this is all a
bem-vindo.
dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
What?
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control. that this was a dream. So he
não posso ir aí apanhar corona. Não posso ir apanhar aí corona, infelizmente.
He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress.
Uma beca de exercício físico fazes bem, bro. Já pensei em trazer tipo uma live comigo a dar um treino, que eu dou treinos online. E pelo menos gravar-me a mim. Não sei. Depois diz aí se curtia.
Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please. It's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job.
My job.
All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
Okay.
My life is normal. I am normal.
Vais acordar.
Everything will be fine.
Vai ficar tudo igual.
I am okay.
Okay. Okay. Posso dar um treino online? Podemos combinar essa merda. Podemos combinar essa merda, juro.
Someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice?
Oh my God.
Who am I? And everything went black.
Puto, pode trazer conteúdo, man.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Depois combinamos, diz aí.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Ok, não era suposto nós termos morrido de maluqueira, ok? Vamos respeitar o que a voz disser. 427, hein?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Esse onde é meeting room, caralho. Eu sei que alguém fugiu por ali por cima. Meeting room.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Left, ok. Esquerda. Uau, bonita folha, bonita montanha, bonito vale, ou logo que isto é. Era chão? 11:23. Não há.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Vamos à casa do boss.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Onde é que é o boss office? O da casa!
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
2845. 2845. Opa. 2845.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
2845. Ah, okay. 2845.
284. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Oh my God!
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Só bocadinho. Ok. Onde é a passagem? É uma badalhoca. Ah, está ali a passagem. É enorme. E eu não via. Capiano. O que faz barulho de teclas de computador? Ainda não percebi. O que é isto? Mapa CS, filho? Vou jogar CS? Isto é um mapa de CS, bro. What the fuck? Dá-se devagarinho, faz favor. Que pariu. Já descobrimos mais qualquer coisa. Ainda não descobri porque é que me estão a mandar mensagens quando eu estou em live. What the fuck, man?
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
What the fuck?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Oh my God! Esquerda, direita, esquerda, direita. Não. Não, vamos lá ver o que é que tem. Olá. Oh shit. What the fuck?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Isso não, mas... Não tem sprint esta merda. Uou.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
What the fuck? 427. Onde é que está o 427? Não mora lá ninguém. 427, já. Vamos ver o que é que tem na nossa janela. E vamos alinhar pelo posto. Está vazio. Vazio. Vazio, amigos.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Of course not.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Não. Coisas verdes. É isso. Liga aqui, caralho. Tem que ir ali ao power, de certeza. O que é o 1? 2. What the fuck? Vamos clicar neste só porque sim. E mais 10. Isso. Botões com cores claras é positivo, ok? Por isso vamos clicar em todos. Também. Deve ser gays. Sem ofensa, não é? Aqui é o Power Facility. Não? Não? 5. Foda-se.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Só um momento para Coca-Cola Light. Vamos ligar esta porcaria só para ver o que é que vai.
Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
Now off, man.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? No. It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going. What all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated. All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
Dead. What? Ah, malta da PS4 acho que está com problemas.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? It was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Boss's office. Huh? What the boss shoes? Irado. Bem louco.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet.
Oh my God.
And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Vamos nós para o CS. What the fuck, bro? What the fuck, bro? tenso, muito tenso.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Okay.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
General questions about Beckett Clean. Interview and interrogation techniques. Vamos embora até o outro lado.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Whoa. Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
What the fucks, man?
But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Let's go! Vamos carregar no off desta vez, putos. Off desta vez. Carregar no off, já me vou inclinar para aqui que é para não carregar sem querer. What the fuck happens?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
Oh my God.
And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know.
What the fuck?
It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin. The feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
What the fuck, put? What the fuck, put? que é? Não vi. Vamos experimentar. Virar naquela porta à direita.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Supostamente encontramos facilmente.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Vamos ao lounge first.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Ah, puta que pariu, man. Puta que pariu, man. Deixa café em qualquer lado.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings.
Yes.
Really worth it.
Bruh.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I don't think so, bad.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Oh, isso é normal. Fazer umas contas. B4. E este é o A. Não salta. Essa cartão feito. Not jumped. Penalty for issue of cargo lift. Or jumped.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
She who? Who is this bitch? Oh, foda-se. Já aconteceu esta merda, sai já por ali, caralho. Cinzera. Ui, vamos naquele ao quarto escuro, não me digas. Pronto, vou ser violado. Tá bom, amigo.
That's her, Stanley.
Não? Pronto, fui violado. Atendi o telefone, fui violado.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Nope.
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Okay.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Não, não aceito. 4. Não aperte, filho. Não aperte. Não aperto. Vai morar comigo, filha? Tudo bem? O que é que vai ser hoje? Costeletas aqui congeladas? Puta. Dalhoca. Dalhoca. 5.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Tá-se, bro. Não clico, vou olhar para as horas, a ver se passam. Não quero clicar, filho. Acabou a conversa. Não vou clicar. Faço o que eu quiser, puto. Vamos olhar para o relógio. Só para ver o que é que vai passar. Tá bom, amigo. Eu vou aperto o 8 para ir. Ai, oh, filho. Para ir para o trabalho amanhã. Trabalho de manhã. Posso apertar outros números aqui? Posso me esconder aqui de baixo? Eu já tenho cabos grossos aqui. Tararara, lá, 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 lá. Uau. Uau. Que réplica, maninho. Tá certo. Pronto, vamos lá apertar o 8.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Quero escrever ali, amigo. Ou aqui, ou afiar lápis. Posso afiar lápis? Posso apagar esta luz? Irritante. Oh, 0. No, 0.
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I
Por favor, morra. Uau! Caricato, não? Vamos experimentar mais uma vez, ou seja, vamos entrar pela porta da direita. Depois há uma porta em que ele manda-me ir à esquerda, é antes do armazém, acho. Vamos experimentar esse final, vamos ver o que é que vai acontecer, ok?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Nope.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible, even to but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ok, nós há bocado fomos ali em frente, eu vou virar aqui.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Só que não. Mandar lá para baixo, sem proteção e o caralho. Siga, mesmo à patrão. O que é que foi? Morri, foi? What the fuck?
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Ok. Aqui não temos hipótese.
Oh, no. No, it's to the right. My mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yeah, yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
What the...
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
What the fuck, man? Tinha mandado para trás. Vamos tentar então não descer no elevador. Vamos tentar então
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Só para conhecer os fins deste. Por aqui.
When Stanley... Wait, what?
What?
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh.
Okay.
Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then.
Somewhere.
It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Vamos começar por esta direita, então. Que é igual à outra da esquerda? Ok, está-se. What the fuck?
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
What, man? What the fuck are you doing, man?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Esta merda. Da puta. Tentar arrumar estas merdas todas. Isso, por cima das mesas e o caralho. Username, access. Liga essa merda. Esqueço-me sempre nesta curva. Parecia que tinha aberto o caralho.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. Shit. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
La 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 la. O jogo está-me a comer o caco agora. Isso fecha a puta da porta, mas é negativo. Dá para ligar. What the fuck? Não tem mais portas abertas. Okay.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
What, bro? Isto está-se a tornar muito creepy.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all.
No,
is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? Bro. You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job.
Good job, bro.
No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Oh, shit, bro.
What? All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that? You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Caralho. Como é que é, grande Ruben? Está-se bem, amor? Tudo bem? Como é que está? Estamos bem, meu miúdo? É eu? Já chega a música, bro. Chega de música. Chega de música, cara.
Cut the music. Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Ok. Ok, 2 quadrados, 3 quadrados. Uma planta toda deficiente. Um mar. Um relógio com 11,25. Uma caixa, 2 envelopes. Tá, mais. Fuck, man.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Vamos por aqui. Eu sei que é por aqui. Não sei nada. Estou mesmo random.
Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Que horas são, afinal? São 20h21. Tá-se. Até às 30. Vamos ver o que é que isto vai dar. Vamos cagar no gajo.
What, Stanley? I say
Filha
forget
da
the adventure line. What's it
mas
ever
é
done
puta
for
da
us?
porca,
We're
cabrão.
intelligent people, right?
Puta da porca, caralho.
Our own story. Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Qual direction, amigo? Qual direction? Ai, por aí? És meio burro, não és?
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Apreciem isto. Vai fechar o quadrado. What the fuck, bro? Não. Tu és muito trapaceiro, putz. Oh, mas eu não tenho outra porta para ir, Zé. Foda-se. Puta que pariu. Vamos ter que andar aqui às voltinhas por causa deste filho da puta. Porquê, caralho? Mais uma voltinha. Vai em drift assim. É lá. Aqui assim, grande drift assim.
Oh no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Esta linha toda mamada, man. A linha da história. E o filho. A destruir o tejadilho e tudo. Oh, uma porta.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Shit, bro.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you do happen to have a...
What the fuck?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Puta que pariu. Qual é o objetivo atual?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Nope.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Shit.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find... Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Que grande moca, filho. Agora deixa-me ficar aqui.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Trolei! Uau, luz engraçada. O que acontece se eu for agora lá em baixo? Só mesmo para... Não, afinal não quero ir lá em baixo. Não, ia ser igual, não. Achei diferentes. Está uma cagadela aqui, lá umas mãos, corona. A puta da porta, ó, filha da puta. Para andar a ser morto. É para baixo, amigo. É para baixo. É para baixo, amigo. Eu não quero ir para cima. Tá-se. Bro, não sei quem é que abriu esta porta, mas obrigado.
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Que grande moca, filho. Eu sou que grande moca. Habla esta merda.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Vamos embora. Oh.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
No. Let me try. Let me try it. Violent death.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
É melhor não. Melhor não. É melhor não, não sei porquê, mas é melhor não.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Voltar ao mesmo.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Blindly, my God.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Blind to the world?
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Dar o golpe. Ai, tudo com o caralho.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin.
Oh my God.
The feeling of liberation. The immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
Oh my God.
And Stanley was happy.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Até deu sono agora. Então. It never ends, never ends. Como podem reparar, o exterior já está diferente. Ok? Por isso, malta, vamos ficar por aqui. Ok? Se vocês gostaram deste jogo e descobrir mais saídas, mais formas de sair, escrevam aí nos comentários. Ok? Isto é um jogo gratuito. Está na Epicgames, quem tiver a aplicação da Epicgames pode tirar. Também temos o Old Z, também é bacana, é um co-op, por isso espero que se tenham divertido um bocadinho. Eu diverti-me um bocado, embora seja um jogo, como é que eu ia dizer, assim, um bocadinho parado, mas ao mesmo tempo faz-te pensar e faz-te obrigar a ter outras decisões que não aquelas que estás a ouvir, que é um bocado confuso no início. No início vais seguir tudo direitinho e depois vais querer andar a procurar outras formas de terminar o jogo. E o jogo vai mudando. Isso é que é fixe. Ok? Maltinha, conto com vocês na próxima live, combinado? Por isso, é isso. Já sabem. Subscrever, deixar aquele mega likezinho, seguir-me no Twitch, no Mob Crash e no Mixer, quem tiver Mixer, ok? Espero que esteja tudo bem com vocês. Passem bem esta quarentena em casa. Protejam os vossos. E um abraço. Até mais logo. Abracinho.